Greetings, world builders. Welcome to Get Diversified, your go-to podcast for all things real estate investments.
I'm Jacqueline.
Melvin Landry. We're thrilled to embark on this wealth-building journey with you.
Imagine this. What if your investments not only secure your future, but also unlock a life of financial freedom? That's what we're diving into on this show. Apartment buildings, storage facilities, mobile home parks, the whole shebang.
But here's the kicker. It's not just about investing. It's about crafting a legacy, building memories with your loved ones, and seizing every moment. Time is the currency of life. And let's be real, none of us wants to waste.
We've got the insights, experience, and dash of excitement to spice up your investing game. Plus, we'll throw in some real-life stories that'll make you see the potential in every brick and mortar.
Subscribe, buckle up, and get ready to turn your investments into the ticket to financial freedom. Together, we're not just building wealth, we're building the community of savvy investors. Let's get diversified.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Get Diversified. I am your host today, Jacqueline Landry, and I am here with a very special guest who's also a partner and a friend. His name is Amar Nagireddy. And let me go ahead and briefly give you an introduction on Amar. So Amar is a full-time commercial real estate investor and developer with a portfolio of 1,000+ units across multifamily, self-storage, assisted living / memory care, and RV parks. And they're in Florida, Indiana, Georgia, South Carolina, Kansas, and Alaska. He's currently leading the development on 1,200 new residential units in Central Florida. So with that, welcome Amar to the show.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
So what did I miss, Amar, about the background? I'm sure this isn't all encompassing of who you are. So any additional comments you want to add on your introduction?
That was a good introduction for me. Thank you for that one. But I would say, as you said, a full-time mainly focus on multifamily assets. Even though I have the other asset types, I focus on multifamily along with the new developments. And mostly trying to focus more on the senior living and assisted living, just considering what is going to come up in the market in the next few years.
Yes, exactly. So we could talk about all of those things, right? Senior living, multifamily, but something that I don't know much about is new construction. So I'd like to focus this podcast strictly on new construction because I like to learn stuff too. So let's talk a little bit about when you're planning a new construction multifamily project, what are the most important things you look for in choosing a site and designing the property?
Yeah, so thanks for that question, Jacqueline. The first thing I would say is that have a right team. You need to, within your team, you need to have someone who has access to the market conditions along with the capital. And then the very first thing when I look at a land is that the land good enough? Does it have an entitlement? If not, where it is located, is it easy to get the entitlement from the city or the county? And then the other thing I look at is that I would prefer, or I would even recommend, if we can a joint venture with the landowner, that will save a lot of headaches. Because for us, if you take a site, even if you own your own site, if you have it, for you to go and get an entitlement and get all the site plan approval, ERP planning approval, everything to get it, it would take anywhere from 6 to 12 months to get it. So if you are able to find a land where there is an already entitlement or a PUD approval, if the existing is there, that is the best thing that can happen.
Awesome.
That's the first. And the next thing is considering the current market conditions and economic conditions. I would say you cannot build a small number of units. You have to go a little bigger because the scale of economics doesn't work if you go small.
What do you consider small, Amar?
I would say anything less than 50, 60 is going to be very difficult, especially in Florida and in some of those sunbelt, I would say. But if you go the same thing in Midwest, it could work. But right now the construction cost per square footage is increasing. So that's why I would always say that go for a piece of dirt where you can have a more number of units. It doesn't mean that just building doesn't make your project successful. That particular location should have the absorption rate. So you cannot just build and leave it. So you need to have that market studies done ahead of the time. When you're building the bigger units or more number of units, there is a population that needs it. So that's how you need to look at it. But for the numbers to work just on the core numbers without even looking at it, the more number of units, definitely then only a project will make sense, because we have 3 projects. We closed it, and there are a couple more under contract we are about to close. So we are working with the landowners and going with all the process of getting everything that needs to be done to construct it. But I think the bigger piece and the bigger risk is identifying the land, getting the entitlement, and making the numbers work. When I say making the numbers work, means it's not that you are coming up with the numbers, doing a proper study or focusing on proper individuals, seeing that where we can get the right numbers. As an example, you work with a local GC or an architect. They are the right source of information to give you how much the cost is going to be per square footage.
Yeah. So Amar, what is your role in these? Are you the numbers guy? Are you the one who finds the land? Are you the one that's negotiating or talking with the landowner? Talk a little bit about that.
My main focus is on the operations. That being said, I look at the underwriting, I look at the business plan, I make sure that everyone is going in a line and according to the business plan, and I will be part of all the negotiations, even the lender communications. So there is not one set role I would say that I'm focusing on. But that being said, within our team, within our core group, there are certain individuals, each one has their own key role, but everyone tags along for everything. Nice. So that everyone is at the same page and everyone has the same kind of a knowledge. But someone, as an example, in our team member, we have one GC, so he has the most knowledge of construction. So we don't have that level of knowledge, but we tag along with all the communications that he's doing it for us so that we understand it. And it actually, what happens is when you tag along with the individuals who has more knowledge in one certain aspect, you ask those mundane questions or you bring a different perspective. It always helps them, and in turn, which is helpful for the project.
Yes.
I'll always say that if you don't understand it, ask the question. Then you will see, is it a good question? I'm going to say there is nothing as a bad questions.
Yeah. So I like when you said you ask the mundane questions. I would say the stupid questions. Yeah. Because I feel like when I'm dealing with a new asset class, I feel like I'm the one that asks the stupid questions. But no, I agree with that. And that's great that everybody's involved in every aspect, but you have your one subject matter expert kind of in the areas. So with all of these different roles in forming your team, how do you make sure that everybody does their job within the team? Do you have agreements set up? Because I know that you work a lot with your friends and people that you've known a long time, but do you still have agreements that you put in place just in case for that time when things go south and you don't see eye to eye, and then you need to execute the exit?
So we don't have anything legally that way. We don't have it. The team is not shy in putting in place if someone is not doing something. We talk very openly. I think forming the right team is where the communication is very open. It doesn't matter it's a good things or bad things. But one of the other things is that we have some projects where we are at a brink of a loss for whatever reasons. At the time if the team you are going to stick with it or not. Fortunately for us, the moment those things happened, it happened this year multiple times. Everyone was on point. Hey, let's do this to figure it out what's happening, how it is happening. Right then and there itself, okay, you are in a good space and in a good hands to move forward.
Yeah, that's how you have a good team. It's in those times of uncertainty. Can you pull together and move forward with plan B?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think in our group we have one with a bucket load of construction experience and one with tons of exposure to the capital. I mean, he doesn't have the capital, but he's the one who has the connections. And the other one is an architect. So other one is an CEO for a bigger organization in his previous life and so on. So everyone has some unique skill set, but we work together and we have a call every day at 9:30 on dot. So the way we work is because we have multiple projects going on, we look at it, which is the highest priority. Sometimes I put together something, hey, this is what we are going to focus on right now. So it's just a give and take relationship that we have, but I like the team that we are working right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's awesome. So guys, I hope you're listening to this, guys and gals, right? Forming the team is everything. And with Amar and his team, he's really thought out who should be on his team. What does he need to make a successful team? He has daily meetings. So guys, this isn't just about raising capital for your project. It's about having those subject matter experts in place so that you can really move the project towards a successful ending, right? Construction, fully occupying the building, and then exiting. So let's talk a little bit about building in today's market. Right. As we all know, we have these new things coming up called tariffs. Prices are increasing. So construction costs, there's supply chain issues, there's interest rate fluctuations, right? We never know if it's going up, down, side to side. So how are you approaching your underwriting in this Central Florida development that you're doing? How do you have a crystal ball where you kind of look into and say, what is all this going to be like? How do you underwrite to account for all of those major variables?
Yeah. So I think that is one of the toughest thing I would say at this moment, what's going to happen in the future. That being said, if you look at the market, let's make two things as a separate here. One is on the tariffs and the other one is will there be a demand that we are building a product right now? Will there be a demand in the future? So when we start the construction, it's going to take at least 1 or 2 years. Then it should be around 2027 is where it should be in the market. So from that perspective, I feel that right after COVID, we have seen too much of construction happening and then everything got subsided. And this year is the lowest that the number of units has been put in the market, and the next year is going to be the still low. And then after that, 2027 is where it requires again. To complement that statement, if you look at just on the workforce housing, we are at least 30% lack of residential units for the workforce across the 48 lower states except Alaska. I would say it's a whole different ballgame. So I feel confident in a way that once we put these units in the market, there is a demand for sure. And now coming to the cost, right? How are we going to build it? How much the variation is going to be against our business plan? So the way when we are doing our underwriting or our business plan, we are looking at very creative ways. So one of the thing was we partnered up with a modular construction firm. Everything they built in the factory and then bring it here, they just stitch it up, build it. It could build very fast. The modular company name is called Bantam. So we are working with them. So is it cheap? No, but we are going to save time on the construction.
Yeah.
So we actually went to their factory and we saw some of the case studies that they have done. They shared that information that there's 88 units that they did sometime this year in Georgia in 14 business days. So they put together everything in 14 business days and plus couple more months to make it ready. So within less than 5 to 6 months, they were able to get it done, the 88 units. Our plan is to work with the modular firm to do these units. Does that mean that we are going to 100% use that modular firm? I would still say there is a chance that we might not do modular. We can go with the other forms of construction. The reason is the way we are looking at it is that considering there could be a tariff and the supply chain issues that are expected coming in the future because we have multiple projects. We are going to pick and choose which projects is much more suitable to which form of construction. And we actually visited few of the construction sites that they are doing. When I say that the GC is currently doing in South Florida, to see in person and see and ask those questions, how long it is taking, all those things, the timeline. So we found that tunnel farm construction, within 6 months, they were able to put together 425 units, just the shell, the concrete shell, just the shell. It's a pretty fast pace, 6 months. And the cost of it is less when we compare with the regular modular or the other traditional way.
Jacqueline and Melvin, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to this episode of Get Diversified. Please make sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes. Finally, stop by our website and follow us on social media. Ciao for now. Make it a great day, and we'll see you next time. And remember, get diversified.